Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela and today I am building a house. And for this house I did title it Grandma's House because my inspiration and kind of thoughts and images in my head were for an elderly couple who do have grandchildren. However, while I was building this, I was kind of thinking that it could also fit for like a starter home. And of course, when I say starter home, I mean it's not going to cost the 20,000 simoleons like what's typical when you do start off with a new sim. But I guess you could say it's like a starter family home. This does end up being 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. So you could totally fit a child or even 2 children if you do have like a couple, or maybe you have like a single mom or a single dad or something like that. I don't know. But I did put the 2nd bedroom in there so that way if it is for an elderly couple, then they have room for visitors such as their grandchildren or something like that. I did get like my thoughts in my head heavily inspired from my own grandmother, because when I was little she was basically my main babysitter because daycare didn't really work out for me. Funny story about that. So I was in daycare when I was like a year old, or I don't even remember. So back in the day of me being a little infant. But anyways, my mom says she picked me up one day and there was like a big scar on the side of my face, which she did not know about at all. Like the daycare providers or whatever didn't even contact her to tell her about this. So I guess what happened was I was sitting in a high chair and there was like this 2 or 3-year-old boy who apparently didn't like me. I don't know why. I probably couldn't really talk at that point. I don't know. But I guess he pushed over the high chair. And daycare providers just didn't notice until it was too late. So then my mom told my grandma about the story, and my grandma was like, yeah, she's not going back there. I'll just take care of her. Which worked out because then it was like free daycare at that point. I don't know. I don't have kids, but I hear how expensive daycare and just childcare is in general. But anyways, I forgot what got me into that story. Right now I'm just working on some landscaping outside. This part was inspired from my grandma's house because she does have a bunch of landscaping like on both sides of her house. I mean, not so much anymore just because she just turned 92, so it's kind of hard for her to do stuff like take care of like the landscaping and stuff outside. She does have like a zucchini plant on the side of our house. And me and my mom went there over this past summer, and my grandma was like, oh, go pick out zucchini. Like, there's a bunch out there. They were freaking huge. I did not know they could get that big. Like, you know how you get them at the store and they're like normal sized? Yeah, these were like 7 times how big that was. But anyways, so this was inspired from my grandma's house with having that, but more of like how I remember it when I was a child. And I also got some inspiration from my aunt as well because she is a retired woman and lives by herself. I mean, I don't really see her as like an older lady or anything because she is my aunt, so I kind of have like the illusion in my head that she's my mom's age, but she's really like over 10 years older than my mom. I don't know. And over here, I decided that I wanted to make a little pond area. I got that inspiration because when I was looking through all the stuff that I could place down, I saw the Get Famous pond that we get. But, I mean, I do like the Get Famous pond, but I just wanted to create my own. So I used the fountain tool, and then just around it, I put some rocks and different types of greenery around. And also with the greenery and landscaping that I do place, I was trying to fit with a color scheme. So I was trying to use just green and also like white flowers. I think I used some yellow flowers too, but yeah, I didn't really notice it when I was building. I just do like the way that turned out. And that's because I do have a tendency to go crazy and use like all the colors. But I don't know, I feel like it looked a lot better this way. I don't know. But yeah, so I decided just to make my own little pond area. And like I said, I really think it turned out cute. And I put this little frog right there, which I thought was so adorable. And it kind of reminded me of something that an older woman or older couple would probably have. Like, I remember when I was little and I would just see stuff like that like my grandma has. Like, Did this happen to you? Like, you would go to your grandma's house and you just see like all this random stuff? Or was that just me? I don't know. But I did incorporate a lot of that into this build as well, which you'll see, especially when I move on to like the spare bedroom. Um, I put some shelving in that room, and I just put a bunch of random stuff because I was like, I could see my own grandma having this. And then I do see the elderly couple here. I imagine that it was a man and a woman, but I imagine that the woman was probably into a lot of gardening. So I did put some flower boxes by the windows. I do end up having to delete one later just because of how the windows was working. And now I'm just working on some floor planning. I did have to kind of maneuver and move around the like house itself, I guess, just to make sure it worked because I didn't want like a super big bedroom or anything. So I just kind of moved stuff around because I also didn't want it to be like weird inside the room or anything. But it ended up working out. And this is only one story, which I thought worked out perfectly because if it was an elderly couple here, then they might get like too old and tired, I guess, to go upstairs. I don't know. I assume that's probably what happens. I don't know. Or they have to go to like a home, like an old people home. My grandpa's in one of those. And yeah, I don't know much about them. But I did imagine that this couple isn't quite that old just yet. But anyways, I also wanted to have it be like really light and airy on the inside. So I do put in a lot of white and also a lot of white colors. So like the kitchen is pretty white, which I don't know, I like the way it turned out. And then it also makes it really nice to play in. Like when I moved my sim self into here for the purpose of like taking screenshots and everything, and I just really liked it. I don't know, there's something about the color white that just makes me really happy, I guess. I don't know. Like my bed set is white. Well, some of my sheets have like patterns on them. Like I have one pair of sheets that has like orange flowers, another that has like polka dots, or it's kind of like paint splatters on it. But my comforter is white, and it's really nice to wake up in the morning and just be in like a pure like environment, I guess. I don't know. And it's also really nice because I'll wake up and then my cat's sleeping next to me, and I don't know. There's something about the color white. I don't know what it is. So yeah, I did want to incorporate a lot of that into this build. And I do have a more open layout for like the kitchen and like the living area and stuff. This house is pretty small in general, so there wasn't like a whole lot that I could work with, but I do like the way that it turned out. And then I do put this little cabinet on the little side, and then I wanted to put these little antique type of things over there, which I got that inspiration from my aunt because she adores any type of like antiques or anything. So I thought that was a nice little touch. And I do put that little plate on there too, and I imagine that maybe one of the grandkids made that. That reminded me of when I was in kindergarten, and I forgot what I made. It was like my handprint and like something like that. And I think I made that for like my mom, maybe. I don't know if she still has it. She probably does because she saves everything. But anyway, so now I'm just working on the living room area. I wanted to put a fireplace right there because I don't know if it's just like my family, because my mom's kind of the same way, but especially my grandma, like they get cold all the time. And I was talking to my mom about it once, and she said that she used to not be that way, but then she got pregnant with me, and now she's just cold all the time. Versus me, I'm like hot all the time, like I'm always overheating. So I don't know, I guess if I ever get pregnant, I'll figure out if it is like a pregnancy thing. I don't know. But yeah, so like you can see here, I do go for like those lighter wood tones, which, I really like that. I used to be a person that like only liked darker wood tones, but I could totally see like a future place of mine having like these really light colors. And like I said, they do make me really happy, so I don't know, maybe that's like the secret or something like that. And I do put a lot of gnomes in the house because, I don't know, there's something about gnomes and like older people, I guess. I don't know. So like you saw earlier, I did place a lot of those in the front of the yard too, just because I want to have like a bunch of like random stuff in the front yard. I remember there was a house in my hometown where there was just a bunch of random stuff outside. So that I kind of got that inspiration from that house too. Which, funny story about that, I just found this out like maybe like a month ago or something. But I'm actually related to the woman that lived in that house. Which maybe I knew that, but I didn't like remember that or something like that. I don't know. My mom just told me because I guess the lady that lived there did end up passing away, which is sad, but it's life. And then I do put like a bunch of like older looking paintings around. So like I put the one of like the couple next to like that corner shelf thing, which I imagine that maybe that was this couple that lives here like back in the day. Like at my grandma's house, she has some older like portrait looking things from past relatives and whatnot. So I figured maybe it was something like that. And then I do put that little shelf right there. I think that's one of my favorite shelves because I tend to use it a lot. And maybe it's because it comes like like cluttered or something like that. Because I find that there's a lot of times when I try to put stuff on my shelves, but then I don't know what actually to put on there. But I don't know. There's only so much that I can work with because I don't like using CC in my builds because I like having my builds be readily available to anyone who wants to download it. So then the only thing you really have to worry about is having the packs that I used. So there's that. And then I just try to put stuff on this wall in the kitchen. I really like these little posters. Where did we get these? Was it Cool Kitchen stuff? I don't know. But there's a really nice poster of like a coffee cup in there that I really, really like. And I use it sometimes, not all the time, because I don't want to like overuse it or anything. But anyway, so in here is where I put the like main bedroom. So like this couple's bedroom. And I do imagine that the woman also really likes quilting, which is something that my family is also pretty into. Not me or my mom. For my mom just never got into it, but her two sisters are really into it. And one of my aunts, her kids are really into it. I'm not quite sure about the other aunts' kids or not because I'm not very close to them. But I mean, maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. But anyways, a lot of my family is into like sewing and quilting and everything. So I figured, maybe this lady likes to do that too. And then I put a computer in here. I put like the older looking computer because I imagine that, maybe this couple doesn't really know how to work technology very well. So then they just have this really old computer that they've had for like years and years and years, which realistically it probably wouldn't really work very well nowadays. But maybe they don't really use it very often. I mean, I imagine that maybe they do have cell phones just because every sim has a cell phone. Like one time I was playing The Sims and then my toddler called me. Like, toddlers should not have a cell phone. They should not be able to call unless they're like using like their mom's phone or something like that. But anyways, I also put this wallpaper up there because it reminded me of like an elderly couple. Like, I feel like this is something my grandma would have. And then I also put just some pictures of landscaping and also of flowers because I did imagine that the lady is into gardening and stuff like that. And then in the second bedroom, I put 2 beds in here. I got this inspiration from my cousin actually because she lives by herself and she used to have it so there's 2 bedrooms in one of the rooms because she has a 2-bedroom house. And so that way, I mean, she has people come over all the time. So then there's just more room in that bedroom. And then this is where I put like a bunch of random stuff. So I put like that gnome right there. I put what is that, like a real rabbit and then a pig next to it. And then of course another gnome. And I also put that vase. I think we got that from Parenthood. So I imagine that would be another thing that maybe the little kiddos made. Like maybe it was like a school project or anything. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I was in elementary school, and especially in first grade, like we did tons and tons of art projects. And I think in some schools they have like a separate like art like teacher from what I've heard. I don't know. But we did art just with my regular teacher. We did switch teachers for like PE and music, And also we switched teachers for like language arts, but that was just because everyone that was at different levels, so they would put everyone within that level of like where you were and everything, which now I understand a lot more because I graduated with a teaching degree, which I'm pretty sure I've said this multiple times, but you know, in case you didn't know, I'm almost a certified teacher. Actually, right now I'm trying to apply for certification in my state, but I went to school out of state from where I lived, and it's definitely a process. Like, if I would have just gotten my certification in Idaho, where I did go to college, it would have been a lot simpler and a lot cheaper. But, you know, I just want to make things complicated for myself. So I'm trying to get certification in Washington right now. So please wish me luck because as of right now, I'm trying to get a 1-year temporary permit because they want me to take 3 big tests. 2 of the tests I basically already took. And like altogether, that would be like $300, and I don't have that money right now. So please wish me luck on that. But anyways, back to the build. Over here, I'm just building the bathroom. It is only 1 bathroom, but most of the time I would imagine that it would just be the elderly couple here, so they don't really need any multiple bathrooms. And like really, if I'm thinking like back to like my grandma's house, she only has 1 bathroom too. And that was the house that like my mom grew up in. So growing up, she only had 1 bathroom too. And I did use the bath shower thing from Vampires, because that also reminds me of the bathtub that my grandma has, because she has like an older looking one. She doesn't have a shower or anything in there, but I did want to make sure that there was a bathtub in this bathroom, so that way if one of the elderly couple that lives here, one of them, like maybe they can't like stand up or anything, so maybe taking a bath would be easier. I don't know, is that how that works? I don't know, but yeah, so that's why I put it in here, and I thought it was a nice little touch. And then moving on to the back, I did want to make sure that there was a back door. The first time I tried building this, I wasn't able to fit a back door, but I don't know, I feel like it just makes it more complete if you can like actually walk into the backyard and not have to go through the front yard and then have to go walk all the way to the back, even though it's not really that much effort, but I don't know. And I do end up liking the way that this turns out. I just used some terrain paint and make like a little back patio area. I put a nice little barbecue and also just a little table, so that way if anyone comes over, then they can have like a nice little get together, I guess. I don't know. I got that inspiration from one of our family friends. She's an older woman. I don't know. She might live by herself. I can't remember. But I just remember going over one time, and it was just like a nice little environment because she had like a little patio area and then also like some seating, and we were able to have breakfast outside. And it's really nice because she lives like up in the hills, so like pretty much by herself, like not around anyone really. And I don't know, it's nice having a little private area, I guess. And then I put a lot of these hedges everywhere, but I really like the way it turned out, and I thought it made it just be a little more private, I guess. And then I do put a lot of greenery also over here, just because, I mean, like I said earlier, I do think that at least the woman that lives here is super into gardening. And then I kind of test things out with the paint. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to keep it just like plain or not, and I think at the end I do keep it plain, if I remember correctly, just because it seemed like too much to have like the little flowers right there. And I do have a little section on the, what is that, the right side? I can never get my lefts and rights right. But I put some gardening pots over there, so that way she can grow like maybe her own fruits and vegetables or something like that. And then this is where I go back and just put more like hedges and stuff on the other side of the house, because like I said earlier, I wasn't quite sure where things were gonna like end up or anything, or like where I wanted the backyard to really start. But anyways, that concludes the rest of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already. Please give this video a big thumbs up. and I will see you all tomorrow.